Kids and cadets, happy Saturday. Welcome back to Tommy Time. Thanks for coming out. First thing Saturday morning. We've got some overcast skies here today, but the sun's slowly creeping out. What do we got here? 74, something like that. Breeze out of the south, not a bad morning. So we had done an initial video on this. This came out of the Mayaka big haul. I paid $10 for this. We had noticed the shutoff. Petcock had an issue. The barb had broken off. And it did produce juice as far as electricity sporadically. Maybe it had something to do with not getting enough fuel. This came in this week direct from China. We'll discuss this. I'll give you the dimensions of that in case you have a tailgater. Ironically, we're going to do the job on the tailgate of my GMC. I paid $7.15 for this out of China. The dimensions of this are 10 millimeter by 125 millimeter pitch, 10 millimeter across, and the thread size is 1.25. The hose barb here is a 1/4 inch. They also call that a 6 millimeter across. 10 on this, 6 on this. Pitch is 1.25. So while I have it in my hand, you can get the barb on the left or the right. The original one had it on the right side. I got one here on the left. I think it'll still work. So same basic concept, but we can hose it up here on the left. I think if we just turn it to the side like this and route the hose maybe straight back, we're going to look at it. We're going to take the tank off. 4 10s to get the tank off of this. So let's do that. I have my drop light to test the output again, and I also brought out my Harbor Freight volt ohm. I want to check the DC current here on the side. We found that there's an outlet here which produces 8 amps, I believe, 8 amp 12 volt DC here. So I want to see if that's putting out 12 volts. So this would charge a battery, car battery, if you had to. The 8 amp 12 volt. So let's get busy. I'm going to take off the four 10 millimeters. I got my impact out here. I grabbed some hose from a couple of carb kits. They give you a little section of hose if you buy a carb. So I grabbed 2 sections and a filter. Maybe we can use some new hose on it and manipulate a filter somehow. They got a built-in magnet, small magnet here to collect any medical particles. The fuel flow would be this way through the paper cartridge and then out to the carb. How you guys doing this week? What's shaking? What's baking? What projects? I know you folks up north are just trying to survive due to the unseasonably cold temperatures. I pre-loosened these up in the 4 Phillips on the air filter. Somebody's calling me. You'll have to wait. You guys are more important. So that comes off. That's the broken barb. It's just pot metal. I had brought this inside and matched it up. I got this new one on eBay. So I knew the barb was going to be on the wrong side, but I wasn't worried about it. I saw that I had some room to work with. So we had looked inside of this. No rust, very clean. The little bit of mixed fuel I put in here leaked out. I'm using 40 to 1. It's showing 50 to 1 here on the original sticker. Okay. I'm dropping all kinds of stuff here. Okay. We're going to have to clean the carb too. I want to do that. Just to be sure. I don't know how long this thing was sitting. So what do we need to do here? We did this project once already. We're going to remove the Phillips here. When I say we did the project already, I did my buddy Matt's tailgater. That was a 700 watt unit, same exact setup. Although I don't think his had the voltmeter. And it didn't have the 12 volt 8 amp plug on the side, I don't believe. But basically same setup here in the front. Carb. Recoil's the same, exhaust is the same. Oh, it's got a filter. I was wondering if the filter would be gone and not in bad shape. So you can see all the surface rust on this thing. This thing's been sitting in a shed or a carport somewhere where it's picked up moisture. Okay. Okay, these are 10s. Let me blast those off with my impact. My DeWalt's battery's getting a little weak. I can hear it. We're going to have to charge that up. Okay, that's off. Little metal keeper, that comes off. What else is holding this? Not much else. Fish the choke lever through the plastic and just put all this to the side. That fell off of something. We'll have to look for where that goes. So easy access to the carb. There's cockroach casings all over this thing from sitting outside. There we go. So what's holding this on? Looks like not much. Got to remove the linkage between the governor and the throttle. Choke is straightforward. We may have to bend this linkage flat. Looks like it got bent up somehow. So this is just going to come off like so. How can we manipulate the linkage here? to get this thing off. I guess just try to, I don't know, there's a spring up here on the first hole on the governor arm. The issue is you can't pull this thing up enough to twist the carb left or right. So how can we do this? I'm going to remove the spring up here on the governor arm here and see if that gives us some slack. Otherwise, we bend this linkage and then bend it straight again later. Okay, spring came off. We know it goes in the first hole. Did that give us any extra? It didn't do shit. It didn't do shit for us. Or maybe it did. Pulling the carb as far as I can go. The other thing would be just to pull the wafer off the throttle back here, if I could get in there, and then just pull up the whole assembly. But that's too much work. I'm just going to keep trying to mess with this. The only other thing would be to remove the governor arm, but I don't want to mess with that since it's preset. There we go. Just kind of manhandle that out of the nylon keeper. Okay, so that wasn't difficult at all. Let's start taking this thing apart. Remove the hose. They've got some insulation on this for the heat. We may try to reuse that. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to change out hose. This seems a little stiff. 10 here, you got your drain. Let me impact this. Okay, there's my green 2-cycle. I see some debris coming out of there, some sand or something. Could be rust. Rusty metal. What does the nut look like? Okay, that's not rusted up, so that's a good sign. Wow, nice and clean. I don't want to mess with that gasket. It'd take me 4 weeks to get one out of China. It'd be cheaper to buy the whole carb. So I don't see anything here that's jumping out at me. A little bit of gooberness down there. I'm just going to wipe this off with a rag, maybe blow some air through the jet, a little bit of air through here, clean this thing up. I won't even take the secondary jet off, or maybe I will. Pull that off, blast some air into it. So let's get blasting. I'll blast some air out here first. Okay, that jet's open, it looks like. I'm going to get my torch tip cleaners and just do a little pokey, maybe a bread wrapper here. But really, I don't see any debris hanging around that would be causing us an issue. We probably didn't need to remove this, but it was probably a good idea to do it since we were so close. Mouse will do it right. If you can't do it right, stay in bed. Okay, grab the torch tips. Got my smallest one. That's open. And that's open all the way into the throat of the carb. So I'm just going to put it back together. I don't see anything jumping out. I'll remove this with the flat head. Let me get a small flat head so I don't destroy the brass. Okay. My quality Harbor Freight screwdriver set, which they used to give away free years ago. Nothing's free there anymore. You can't even get a flashlight for free. They would give these things away free. There's no more free at Harbor Freight. The only thing free they're offering is a kick in the pants. And blast a little air down there. I don't see any gooberization on the brass here. So where are we? Where's my gun? Here's my gun. I'm going to grab something smaller, like a wire brush, and just poke this thing here on the bottom just to be sure, because I don't know where my bread wrapper is. Okay, looking for my bread wrapper. It's not to be had, so I'll show you what we're going to use. Just grab a stray strand here. Grab this loner that's fairly straight, and I'm going to poke the end of it, and it pokes free and clear, as I thought it would. So I'm going to put this thing back together. We should have success. So the only main issue with this thing was the, where are we going here? Too much talking, not working. So far, the broken barb was the only issue. Okay, that's snug. Grab my brush again since I have it, and we'll try poking that jet. And that's free and clear. It's going all the way in. Let's put this thing back together. Set the carb down. Grab my Georgia Bulldogs rag. Just kind of clean this thing up. Don't destroy that gasket. That's my lifeline to a happy and healthy life. If that goes bad, it's not gonna be good. Okay, so here we are. Chokes in the front. Where would you drain the fuel if you had to? Towards the side. So I want to manipulate that. Something like that. Okay, I did notice a little burr here in the manufacturing process. It's not totally smooth there. I just don't want to mess up this gasket. Okay, that looks like it was acceptable. I don't have to clean this off. Looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to take the 10 off the DeWalt and do this by hand. Use my trustworthy crafty 3/8 drive ratchet. Okay, just snuggy snug. Okay, here's going to be the hardest part, manipulating this linkage back on and getting it back on here. At the same time, while whistling Dixie, standing on one foot with one eye closed. If you can do that, you're a trooper. So how did this thing get bent up so much? Did I do that? Okay. Yeah, it's doable. You can get the linkage down in there. So I just bent this governor arm down. It's a little tweaked, it looks like. I'm going to put the spring back in the first hole, but I think that's going to work. Okay. Grab my needle nose, pull the spring out to the first hole. Just put some more pressure on the arm to try to get the linkage more straight. We'll find out, won't we? Okay, now it's time for manipulating the Petcock onto the tank. Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to do. We can do that now. Got my square nose pliers out. I just had to chuckle to myself. The paint job on this thing looks like they sprayed it kind of thin here, and then up here they goobered it up. Looks like it wasn't dry completely, and they started messing with it. Must have been lunchtime. What do you think? Okay, this is what I wanted to fix. Somebody had dropped this I just want to bend this up straight. Fix somebody's screw up. Okay, that looks good. What about the rest of it? Okay, no damage to the back. Good as new. Factory new condition. Okay, that's that. Okay, let's get serious. So we'll get it started, maybe put it on the generator and see how it all lines up. So I paid $10 for this. I got $7.15 into the Petcock. The filter just screws into the inlet there. And so what we do is screw it in, and then when we get it to our desired length, this screws up and forms a seal at the bottom of the tank. There's a new O-ring there. And that's how it works. So let's screw this back down to give us some threading space, and then we're going to put a few of these threads into the tank. Okay, something like that, and that gives me space to turn up that coupling. So let's come over here and kind of eyeball this. We got to make some decisions on hose length, hose routing. Okay, somebody's looking for a mower. It's my son. Yeah, I'll call you back. I'm doing a video about a WildFire 1200 watt generator. The kids and cadets are here. I can't talk. Bye. Okay. My son's off today as well. We're going to have lunch, I believe. Okay, so let's thread the choke arm through the plastic. Nope, we can't do that yet. Yeah, we can. I'll just set this here and kind of eyeball it. Put the tank on and see what we need to do. Okay. If I turn the barb to the back, where do I have access for the on and off switch valve? I think I can still reach the on and off. What I can do is kind of put the on and off like that. And there's plenty of space here to run the tubing. The hose line can fit in there and go down to the intake. So I may not even use that inline fuel filter, since there is one on the top of the Petcock and one in the top of the tank. So let's remove the plastic here again and run our tubing and finish tighten down the coupling here. So what do we need? We need our sections of tubing, what's going to fit. I think that's going to be a little short. This one here may be just the right length. If it's going to pinch the line, what I'll end up doing is extending it, put that inline fuel filter to give me some more length. No, but I think this is going to work just like this. It's not pinching. It's going to be a straight shot, I believe. So we got new fuel line. I can reach the on and off. Let's kind of tighten this down now. Okay, where do we need to go? Something like that, I think. It's just the choke's going to be hitting the hose all the time, but it's not going to be anything where it's going to cause an issue, I don't think. I'd rather have it behind the choke. I could take a zippy tie also and kind of pull the hose to the back. Okay, let me tighten this up. I think it's going to work. Get the wrong tool for the wrong job here. This may be a 12 or 13. Ah, what the hell? Let's do it right. We're going to find out what it is. I'll bring a couple with me. 12, 13. Let's look at the old one. The old one's a 14. I'm assuming this is going to be a 14, and it is. So bring my coupling and the O-ring up to the bottom of the tank, get this snug. The on and off is free and clear. It's not hitting the recoil. Okay. Feed the choke arm through the plastic. Okay. I know we're going to be missing one little nut. I'm trying to figure out where it popped off of down here. Oh, I see. Somebody's broken this. Somebody's been in here before. There's a break in the plastic, I think. Yeah, there is a break in the plastic. I hope that wasn't me. But I think it was fairly loose when I took it off. Yeah, somebody's broken this prior to my arrival. just for our rebuild purposes, I'm just going to put it all back together and then mess with this over here. It should be connected down here, but it's been broken. Yeah, we can bend the arm. The choke. Okay. Okay, tighten up my 10s on the carb. Time for the Phillips filters in place. Okay, this says it's just looking at the date code. I didn't know what the date on this thing. Made in China, 5th month, 2008, conforms with 08 USA EPA regulations for small engines. Use unleaded gas and synthetic 2-stroke mix. I say non-ethanol, unleaded. Okay, that's good enough. Now let's come up here and put the tank on. Let's see, are we going to hit anything with the new hose routing? Wow, that's going to work out. Let's just check something here if it's pinching. No, there's no 90-degree pinching. This is going to work out. And I can still reach the shut off. I'm going to loosen the coupling up a little bit. Okay. Just tried to adjust the petcock. It was kind of putting a little pressure on the plastic in the front just because of the routing. But I turned it to the side a little bit. I still have access to my on and off lever. I may leave this one out. I can't get it started. It's going in crooked, so I'm going to leave that one out for now. Okay, that overcast layer just burnt out. Sun's coming out right now, so it's going to warm up. We're going to have 80 something probably. Okay, that's moving nicely. I'm on. Fuel is off. Let me put a little 40 to 1 in here. Okay, that should be enough. The last time we messed with mats, I didn't have enough fuel in it, and we went on a wild goose chase. I think there's enough fuel in it now. Let me turn it to on the fuel petcock and see if it pours out of the carb. Crossing my fingers, it does not. Drier than a baby's bottom so far. Not leaking out of the petcock. I can still reach the lever on and off. Off, on. Ideally, it should have come out of this side on the barb. We made it work. I knew it going into it just by looking at the pictures. I was on the wrong side, but I knew there was enough space there to manipulate it. Okay, let's see what this thing's gonna do. It's on. Did we not forget to plug something in? I don't think so. I didn't remove any of the electric wires. Plug wires attached. Just in case there's not enough fuel in the tank, I'm just going to turn it to the side like this. Let the bowl fill up if that's our issue. So that's a stinker. It ran somewhat with that broken barb. Now we got a new Petcock and it won't start. Choke off. Okay, that was a disaster. It was my fault. I had choke off. Choke on is here. I was trying to start it without choking it. Realized my screw up, put it to choke, and it started, but we're still not idling very good. And the voltmeter's barely going past 50 volts. So what do you think the issue with this thing is? I tried to adjust the idle. I got the idle screw fully in, and it's still not increasing RPMs. What do we got to do? Ultrasonic clean the carb, or do we have issues with something else? That was too bad. I just wanted to see if it was producing 12 volts. The cockroach just ran out of it. Cockroach must have been in the recoil housing. Sounds like fuel, not getting fuel. Okay. No excuse now. I really poured it in there. I don't know, it's a dud. What do you think? Just not running smooth, and we're not producing here. I figured last video, I thought with that broken off barb, it wasn't getting constant fuel, maybe not running 100%. I figured the new Petcock with straight fuel would have brought the engine up to snuff, but it's not. It's still not producing here, and it's running rough. So I got to mess with it some more. This might have been a $17.15 disaster. Let me know what you think. Happy Saturday. I'm going to wrap this one up. Tip your waitress and wait staff. Still no leaking, but it's not running. It's not running tip top. Have a good day today. Just in case you wanted to know, if you've got to order parts, there's your model. WF1200, and that's the model right there. If you want to Google parts, there's probably 10 manufacturers of these things, and they're all the same. Only difference is what color they use for the tank. All this jazz is pretty much standard. This is standard as well, except for the left or right barb. Anyway, have a good day. Thanks. Sorry we didn't have luck with this. Shit happens.